In this video, I will be going over lesson 23, which is about area and circumference of circles. Our first question says that the radius of a circle is 2.5 centimeters. What is the circumference of our circle? All right, so circumference is equal to pi times diameter. It tells me here that the radius is 2.5, which means that if I were to have a circle, halfway is 2.5. However, I need to double that to get to my diameter. So when I take 2.5, multiply it by 2 to get the length all the way across my circle, that is going to give me 5, which means that 5 times pi is going to be my circumference. So 5 pi. Notice I don't need to multiply it by pi because my answers have pi in them. Since my answers have pi in them, that means I don't need to actually multiply it. Our next question says the diameter of a circle is 14 inches. What is the approximate circumference of your circle? Use the approximation of 3.14 for pi. All right. So again, I have pi times diameter. 14 is my diameter, and I'm going to multiply that by pi. It tells me to use 3.14, which is what you should always use for pi. So again, I'm going to type 14 times 3.14 into my calculator and get 43.96. Bada boom. Remember that I went over these circumference and area formulas in your Unit 5 session video, so if you don't remember those, you can scroll up in your workbooks and the formulas will be there for you as well. Next question says the circumference of a circle is 19 pi inches. What is the radius of this circle? So this one is a little bit different. Okay, I have circumference is equal to pi times diameter. Okay, it tells me that my circumference is 19 pi. So 19 pi is my circumference here. And that is going to be equal to pi times my diameter. So to figure out what my diameter is, I need to get my diameter by itself, meaning this pi that's next to it needs to go away. And the opposite of multiplying by pi is dividing by pi. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi here, and these pi's are going to cancel. So 19 is my diameter. However, I need to remember that I'm looking for the radius, and in order to find the radius, I need to take my diameter and divide it by 2. So 19 divided by 2 gives me this 9.5 here. All right, our next one. So our circle has a diameter of 30 inches. What is the area of the circle? Okay, so my area is equal to pi r squared. So I need the radius. So when I have a diameter, which goes all the way across the 30, to know what only half of that is, I take 30 divided by 2, which gives me 15. Okay, so I have pi times 15 squared. Remember that 15 squared is going to be 15 times 15, which is 225 pi. Now, you can type that into a calculator. Remember, you're not typing in the pi, you're just doing 15 squared or 15 times 15 if you would like to double check. That is 100% okay. All right, our next question says that a circle has a radius of 7 centimeters. What is the approximate area of the circle? Okay, so a circle has a radius of 7 centimeters. Pi r squared. I know that my radius is 7, so I have 49 times pi. It tells me to use 22 over 7 for pi. It is okay if you just use the 3.14. That won't change your answer here. Okay, so I'm going to use the 3.14 because that is what I prefer. 22 over 7 is the ratio for pi, so you'll get the same answer regardless of which one you use. So here, this tells me that it is 153.9, I believe, which rounds up to 154. So 154 centimeters squared is the approximate area of this circle. Our next question says, what are the similarities between the area and circumference of a circle? Okay, well, let's kind of think about it and read through these answer choices. A says that both can be calculated using only pi. Well, that isn't true because I can't use just pi, otherwise my answer every time would be pi. So I know A can't be true. B says both can be calculated using only the radius and diameter of a circle. Well, that's not true either because I need my pi, right? I gotta have both. C says both can be calculated using only pi and the radius of a circle. That one sounds pretty good to me. Remember that even with diameter, even though my circumference is pi times diameter, if I'm given the radius of a circle, which is say 2, all I need to do is multiply my radius by 2 to figure out my diameter, which then I can solve for. So you actually can solve circumference problems using a radius, which is why both can be calculated using only pi and the radius of a circle is correct. All right, our last question here. So this question, I do not expect you to know how to solve. You don't need to solve this equation at this point in your math career. I will go through how to solve it, but know that I do not expect you to know how to solve this because we haven't gone over the necessary tools that you need in order to be able to solve this yet. So they reorganized the course this year. Some of the questions are a bit out of order compared to what we are used to. So that's why this, if you got to this question and you're like, whoa, what is this? I'll go through it, but know that you don't need to learn what I'm doing, okay? Because it can get a bit crazy. So it says the circumference of a circle has a circumference of c. What is the area of the circle in terms of c? And it tells us up above that circumference is equal to 2 times the area divided by the radius. Okay. I don't like using this. I'm going to do a different way. I think it makes it a bit confusing. So I'm going to have 2 pi r, and my area is equal to pi r squared. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to solve my circumference formula to get it in terms of r. Okay, so to do that, circumference is equal to 2 pi r. I'm going to divide both sides by 2 pi. So I now have my circumference divided by 2 pi is equal to r because this cancels. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to substitute it in here. So area is equal to pi times circumference over 2 pi, and this is all going to be squared. Okay, so when I take this, I need to move this up a bit because I need to write underneath it. I'm going to erase some of this. So that was area is equal to pi times circumference over 2 pi squared. So now I have this pi times my circumference squared over 4 times pi squared. Now this 1 pi and this pi on the bottom, one of each is going to cancel, and that gives me this c squared over 4 pi that I'm left with, which is why this is the correct answer. Again, I do not expect you to know how to do this, nor should you have to at this grade level. This is 100% a high school level question. Sometimes this is an older question from the course a few years ago, which is why it's still in here. I don't know why they haven't kicked it out yet. But that's how you solve this question. So don't freak out. You won't be asked a question like this on your exam. This is kind of just a fun, challenging question if you are into a good challenge. So yeah, that's the last question for this lesson. So thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, let me know.